Have you ever wished you could just go to sleep and wake up when it's warm again? Imagine closing your eyes in the autumn, as the leaves turn to gold as they turn red. You wouldn't have to worry about the cold, the snow, or finding food when it is scarce. Instead, you would simply rest, tucked away safely in a cozy den. You would miss the dark, short days and the biting winds. Then, as the first flowers of spring begin to push through the soil, you would slowly wake up, ready for the sunshine. It sounds a bit like a fairy tale, doesn't it? A long, peaceful sleep that lasts for months. For many animals, this is not a fairy tale at all. It is a real and necessary part of life. When winter arrives, the world changes dramatically. Green leaves disappear. Insects vanish. A thick blanket of snow can cover the ground, hiding any food that might be left. A small mouse struggles to find food. Many of us think of hibernation as a very long nap, like the bears in storybooks who sleep soundly all winter. We imagine them snoring gently in their caves, dreaming of honey, dreaming of berries until spring arrives. But the reality is far more extraordinary and much more complicated than that. Hibernation is not sleep. It is a profound change in an animal's body, a state of suspended animation that allows it to survive when the world outside is hostile and unforgiving. It is a superpower that turns down the very flame of life to a tiny, flickering pilot light, conserving every last drop of fuel. When an animal hibernates, it is not simply resting. Its entire body undergoes a massive transformation. Its metabolism, the process that turns food into energy, slows down to a crawl. To truly understand hibernation, we must look inside the animal's body. The changes that occur are simply astonishing. It is as if the animal has a switch that can turn down all of its vital functions. One of the most dramatic changes is to its heart rate. A chipmunk, for example, might have a heart that beats around 200 times per minute when it is active in the summer. But when it enters deep hibernation, its heart can slow down to just 5 beats per minute. That is 1 beat every 12 seconds. It is an almost unbelievable slowdown, a way of making the heart do as little work as possible to conserve energy. Breathing also changes in a remarkable way. An active groundhog might take around 16 breaths every minute. During hibernation, it can go for several minutes without taking a single breath. Its breathing becomes slow, shallow, and very irregular. This reduction in breathing helps to lower its metabolism even further. Less oxygen is needed because the body is doing so little work. The animal needs just enough oxygen to keep its essential cells alive, but not so much that it wastes precious energy. It is a state that would be fatal for a non-hibernating animal, yet for them, it is the key to survival. Hibernation is the most famous way animals deal with winter, but it is not the only one. Nature is full of clever ideas. Different animals have found different solutions to survive. Not every animal sleeps all winter. Some use a lighter, more flexible version called torpor. Torpor is a mini hibernation that can last just a few hours, usually overnight. Small animals with very fast metabolisms use it. Hummingbirds, bats. They cannot afford to stay warm all night when not feeding. They'd burn through energy reserves too quickly. So instead of a long sleep, they enter torpor each night. A hummingbird's heart can beat over 1,200 times a minute in flight, but in nightly torpor it can drop to about 50 beats per minute. Its body temperature also falls dramatically. That saves huge amounts of energy overnight, giving enough fuel to start again in the morning. Torpor is a vital daily routine, a quick power down to survive day to day. How is it possible for an animal to deliberately cool its body to near freezing temperatures and slow its heart to just a few beats per minute? Well, the answer lies in some fascinating biology. It all starts with preparation. In the autumn, animals that hibernate go on an eating frenzy. They build up huge reserves of body fat, which will be their only fuel all winter. This isn't just any fat. They store a special type called brown fat found around the neck, found around the shoulders. Brown fat is packed with tiny power generators, mitochondria. When it's time to wake, brown fat acts like a built-in furnace. The mitochondria can generate heat very quickly, much faster than shivering. That heats the body from just above freezing to normal temperature in hours. The rapid warming is extremely energy-intensive, using up large portions of fat reserves. Without brown fat, waking up would be impossible, a biological superpower. When we think of hibernation, dormice, groundhogs, bats. But the world of winter sleepers is full of surprises. Some of the animals that use this strategy are not what you would expect at all. Take bears, for instance. For a long time, scientists debated whether bears truly hibernate. Their body temperature only drops by a few degrees, not to near freezing like smaller hibernators. They do not eat, they do not drink, they do not go to the toilet for months. Mother bears even give birth and nurse their cubs during this time. Today, most scientists agree that bears are highly efficient hibernators. Their strategy is unique. By keeping their body temperature relatively high, they can wake up much more quickly if disturbed or to defend cubs. But they still slow their metabolism massively, about 75% less energy use. They do this without losing significant muscle or bone mass. If a human lay in bed for 5 months, our muscles and bones would weaken dangerously. Bears recycle waste to build new proteins, keeping themselves strong while inactive. The study of hibernation is not just about understanding the natural world. It also holds incredible promise for the future of human health and exploration. Imagine if we could learn how to induce a safe, controlled state of hibernation in humans. The possibilities are honestly mind-boggling. One of the most exciting areas is medicine, particularly in emergency situations. If someone has a heart attack, if someone has a stroke, much of the damage to the brain and other organs is caused by a lack of oxygen. If we could cool the body down quickly and reduce its need for oxygen, just like a hibernating animal, we could buy precious time for doctors to treat the patient and potentially save lives. This idea is already being used in a limited way. Doctors sometimes cool patients down after cardiac arrest. Doctors sometimes cool patients down after brain injury to reduce swelling and prevent further damage. This is called therapeutic hypothermia. However, we are still a long way from inducing the profound, long-lasting state animals achieve. If we could unlock the hibernation induction trigger, if we could unlock the protective proteins that prevent cell damage, we could revolutionize emergency medicine and many critical treatments. The hibernating groundhog could one day help save a human life. Another area where hibernation could be a game changer is in organ transplantation. Right now, when an organ, like a heart, is removed from a donor, or when an organ like a kidney is removed from a donor, it can only be preserved on ice for a few hours before it becomes unusable. This creates a desperate race against time to get the organ to a recipient. If we could learn from hibernators how to keep organs alive for days or even weeks at low temperatures without damage, it would transform the field of organ donation. It would give doctors more time to find the perfect match for a patient and mean far fewer precious organs go to waste. The dream of long-distance space travel could also become a reality. A journey to Mars would take many months. A trip to another star system could take generations. Keeping astronauts awake for that long would require enormous amounts of food, water, oxygen, and would also present huge psychological challenges. This would drastically reduce the resources needed for the mission and could make interstellar travel possible. The fat-tailed dwarf lemur sleeping in its tree in Madagascar might hold the key to humanity's future among the stars. While we have learned so much about the amazing world of hibernation, there are still many mysteries left to solve. Scientists are working tirelessly to uncover the remaining secrets of this incredible survival strategy. One of the biggest questions is still about what exactly triggers hibernation to begin and end. We know that things like the changing length of the day and falling temperatures play a role, but there seems to be an internal clock inside the animal as well. Understanding this master switch is the key to unlocking the potential of hibernation for human applications. Researchers are studying the genes of hibernating animals, looking for the specific instructions that allow them to turn their metabolism down and protect their bodies from the cold. By comparing the genes of hibernators like the 13-lined ground squirrel with those of non-hibernators like mice or humans, they can pinpoint the genetic code responsible for these amazing abilities. This genetic research could one day lead to the development of drugs that could safely trigger a hibernation-like state in humans, opening up all the medical and space travel possibilities we have imagined. Another fascinating area of research is how hibernators protect their brains. When the body gets very cold and blood flow is reduced, the connections between brain cells, called synapses, can break down. In hibernating animals, these connections are dismantled as they cool down. The story of hibernation reminds us that the natural world is full of breathtaking solutions to life's greatest challenges. It is a story of resilience, adaptation, incredible biological engineering. From the tiny hummingbird entering torpor for a single night, to the great bear sleeping for months in its den, these animals have mastered the art of waiting. They show us that sometimes the best way to face a harsh and unforgiving world is not to fight it, but to bow to its power and wait for a kinder season. It is a lesson in patience and efficiency, perfected over millions of years. If you enjoyed this deep dive, share, comment, and subscribe for more.